are live.
Woo!
Wait, does that mean I can't say the bad swears?
Well, no, you could say most things.
You remember that?
Some things I would prefer.
You remember when we tried that? And it would just fail every week.
Oh, trying not to say the bad words?
Yeah.
It would be usually you.
No.
And me.
Yeah. Oh, Tina too. Yeah, that's true. Tina too.
Like
mostly you, though.
35% of the time.
All right. Are we good to go?
Yeah.
On this episode of the Culture Smash Cast,
will the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood director finally get his happy ending?
We watched the last episode of The Last of Us.
And is John Wick's candle wick burning out?
No, the second week in a row, Tina should have went last.
I'm not the one who decides these things.
I didn't think mine was that bad.
It wasn't, but I mean, she had a happy ending reference, so
yeah, she did.
Her.
I agree. She should have gone last. Why didn't you, Tina?
Because for once, Nicholas, I'd like to come first.
I ain't even going anywhere near that. Nope.
All right.
Nope. I ain't even.
I see what kind of night we're gonna have. It's gonna be great. It's great. All right, here we go. It's a Culture Smash Cast, episode 617 for March the 15th, 2023. I'm Stephen Lackey, editor of the Culture Smash Cast. Nico?
Nicholas Qualls, contributor to Culture Smash Cast.
Tina?
Tina Qualls, contributor to Culture Smash Cast.
And Zach?
I'm Zach. By technical definition, I guess I contribute. More like I'm the middle. I'm the middle bitch in some games.
You usually are the middle bitch. That's true.
You were the middle bitch in the Oscar game.
I would have.
That's true.
We'll get there, but I have some statistics.
You have some statistics?
Statistics.
I don't know about that. Tina is usually
I've told you these, and you're like, oh, well, you know.
Yes,
I like how I am the statistics person, but I actively don't use my skill set when playing these games.
I know. You are statistically the one who should win.
Before we should get
because
to that.
of your statistical skills. But no. You are the one who plays with anarchy.
Yes.
That's pretty true to form.
All right, let me get past the necessary stuff, and then we'll get into the good stuff. So join us every Wednesday night on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, starting at or around 7 o'clock CST. It's usually 7:15. Follow us on your platform of choice and join the conversation. Special thanks to Skinny Mixes for supporting the Culture Smash Cast. Skinny Mixes are coffee and dessert syrups that are 0 sugar, 0 calories, and 0 to 2 carbs. Head on over to skinnymixes.com and try some of their delicious syrups, such as the white chocolate, the salted dark chocolate, or the salted caramel for your coffee, and their variety of cocktail mixes they offer, including the margarita, which is my favorite, and different fruit flavored infusions. Use promo code CultureSmash for 15% discount on your order. So I would ask what everyone was up to over the weekend, but I know one big thing that we did. We had our Oscar viewing party.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was a great time this year. It was one of not only was it one of the better Oscars shows, but it was a really fun time. We did the
Was it a fun time for y'all? I was back here working my ass off.
Hey, you requested the job.
Do you think you could have done it?
You brought this on yourself.
You would have been stumbling over yourself.
I never stumble over myself.
Next
I stumble over everything else.
Yeah, next
time
time one of us
we
can
do it.
Yeah.
We build spreadsheets.
Yeah, I had a spreadsheet of. I was tracking TV.
That would actually be great.
And I did ask him that because I knew you guys had a spreadsheet. He's like, "Oh, I just thought I would just jump in and do it." That's
what happened was, it was like a quarter of the way through, and then y'all were like, "Oh, by the way, we have all this in a spreadsheet," and I'm like, "Well, it's too late to whatever. I'll just okay."
Favorite moment.
We had specifically ours because I tracked our bids when we played the game. And I set a formula so that like once we would mark something that won, it would do the multiplier for us. So all the math was taken care of.
I was going to say, I could hear them updating each other on the scores like many minutes before you came down because it was happening so fast.
Yeah, you know,
spreadsheets are magic.
Look, it's not my fault that Nico is a freak in the Excel sheets.
Actually, I think that's Tina.
Tina, I mean, I built it, but I went to Tina for help.
Like I said, a freak in the sheets.
So that's why they're a good couple. They're both freaks in the Excel spreadsheets. Yeah. But on our live stream, which
also
yes, what
soju plus math.
Oh yeah, the first quarter of the show is once again Zach drinking too much soju too fast.
No, I had everything lined up, and then I would go to give like numbers, and you're like, "Oh, what did I bid?" I'm like,
okay,
fuck,
that's what I was
stop what I'm doing.
That was the
search through
thing.
The fucking sheets,
and then post show I pointed to, they're all everything I bid is all right here. That's why I asked you.
I was sober by that time and didn't even realize it. What do you want from me?
I want to give you hell, and it's great.
You're like,
but it was a
commercials
good,
are over.
It was a good game, and Nathan ended up winning, which is ridiculous to me. He won his final total score. So just a recap on what the Oscar game, how it worked is, we each had 100 points that we could apply to each of our picks, the ones that we thought would win, and we could apply up to 10 points on those. We had to have a minimum of 1 point per choice, though, and then depending on the I guess kind of risk of getting it right or wrong, there were multipliers, so 2, 3, and 4, and
like best picture is easy to guess.
That's
like,
a 2 multiplier.
Best costume design,
that's a 4 because it's harder to know that one, and obvious because I think that's one of the ones we all missed, right?
Yeah. Well.
Best makeup we all missed.
Yeah.
Because it went to the whale, and none of us anticipated that being the thing.
I mean, I saw it, but I thought they were going to go...
like hardcore, like makeup and hair and all that. Yeah, I did too.
I think one of the things that threw me off, if I had been playing like actually, is there's always going to be one shutout. But this year there's like 2 or 3 shutouts.
There was like 3 shutouts.
Yeah, because you had Banshees didn't get anything, Fablemans didn't get anything, Tar didn't get anything,
Elvis didn't get anything.
I mean, I was happy about that.
I was pleased with that, but
I don't understand the love of Elvis because it's not good.
No,
it's not good. I didn't think it was that bad, but it's not.
Yeah, for the trend of Hollywood loving itself, I expected Elvis for costume, makeup, stuff like that.
I mean, if you wanted
that's where I expected Babylon to get something.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you wanted Hollywood loving itself, Babylon should have got a shit ton of nominations.
Yeah, it's 3 hours of Hollywood masturbation.
Unfortunately, it features a elephant just shitting itself in the first 3 minutes.
People don't like that.
I thought it was hilarious.
I thought it was really funny too.
Unfortunately, some old people I know were like, I just say.
Yeah.
It was like, if you're not going to make it through this 3rd minute, then you're not going to make it the next 3 hours and 6.
Also, I think the sheer debauchery in that movie probably hurt it too. I mean, because literally you see every part of a person's body, male and female.
You don't see asshole.
Well, yeah, you don't specifically see asshole. No. And there's a lot of fucking that goes on in the first 30 minutes of that movie too. And I think that just turned some of the older voters off, but it's a good movie. So that one did get shut out.
And that's why The Wolf of Wall Street got a Best Picture nomination.
Right? But that's Martin Scorsese. He can do as he pleases.
It is.
You know, that's different.
Anyway.
So with those points applied, Nathan ended up getting 177 points.
The final tally was starting at the bottom, Tina with 131, Nico at 134, Mia right in the middle at 149, Steven at 166, and Nathan at 177. Funny enough, if we had played with last year's
the traditional game of just who picked what,
and you get 1 point based on you were right, Steven, Nathan, and I would have tied at 13.
And I'm glad we didn't play that way because I out of everything that I could think of that I would want right now, a 3-way with you two is not what I would want.
It stings a little bit to know I would have been right there at the tippy top, but no.
Zach didn't apply his points.
I gotta be the middle person in the fucking human centipede.
So on the applying points, I mean, this is our first time playing it, this weighted scoring system, which is, I really enjoyed it. And it definitely shows the learning curve we have going into it, because I was very conservative on sinking points into like the early categories, which was a mistake, because I mean, I had things that I was like, I will put 1 point in, and then I won. It's like, oh, great. It was a 4-point multiplier. I got 4 points when I should have gone much harder in on a lot of categories.
I almost think playing this way, 1 point, if you go 1 or 2 points, you're almost throwing that category away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you might as well just pick a different movie if you're that level or lacking that much confidence. Just pick another movie.
Yeah. Because we did play test and there are multiple ways to win, but the obvious way is if you put a bunch of your money, your points into the riskier category, you can almost be unstoppable.
Because 10 points into Avatar for best sound.
And you blew it. Because I was right about that. And that is when the game turned to Stephen passing Zach.
You do know. If I had gotten that, I would have won.
Well, if Angela Bassett had won for supporting actress, I would have won.
Same.
But
I wouldn't have won, but
we would have been further up.
I was literally 10 points from Nathan, and if I could have, I had 7 points on Angela Bassett. I could have won.
I really thought, because I thought that the Chadwick Boseman tribute train was still going on. So I thought that because of that, you get more out of Black Panther. And Black Panther still got something with costuming. But I thought Angela Bassett was very likely for supporting actress. Angela Bassett thought that she was very likely for supporting actress.
She looked pissed.
And then you had what was the other one that I put? The song I thought it was a lock-in. And then Natu
the song was a lock-in.
And I thought,
hell yeah, it's Natu.
Natu was good. I thought it was a really good pick, but it was not the one I thought was going to make it.
Oh, well, that's just a bad pick.
Because you don't know Natu.
It's true, I don't.
And on that Angela Bassett front, people I've seen all over social media, people getting giving grief to her and stuff for her looking upset. I'm like, shit, you know what? If I was that close, and she was that close, I would be pissed too. And if it came across my face for a minute, so what?
I mean, it's you heartbreak.
You want to win.
And she's not the first. She won't be the last.
Well, to break down that moment, Jamie Lee Curtis, when it's announced, almost spasms, freezes, and goes, "Oh, shut up." She did not expect it.
Yeah.
Hong Chow claps. Stephanie Hsu is cheering.
Mm-hmm.
Carrie Condon goes, "What?" and then claps. And then Angela Bassett is just
pissed,
fuming.
But I don't understand how they didn't see it coming. After the Screen Actors Guild Award, they should have seen it coming.
I mean, shit, I guess Jamie Lee Curtis is the best actress because she did not expect it.
It's funny. How did they not see it coming? Because that is kind of the cool thing about us playing before the SAG Awards. Because if we had played after the SAG Awards,
it would have been a whole different game.
I would have just stuck with what the SAG Awards, the winners, and I probably would have won because they're so close. Because it's the Screen Actors Guild. It's mostly the same voters. So if she won that one, people should have expected Jamie Lee Curtis to win. Now, the other side of the social media spectrum that I've been seeing is people pissed that Angela Bassett didn't win, and people saying that her performance was more of an Oscar-worthy performance. And my thing about that is her performance in that movie is good, but that movie is not that good.
Yeah, but you also have the Brendan Fraser thing too. It's same thing right there.
Yeah. And honestly, the thing is when you start picking actors for leading or supporting, to me, it should be just based on quality of their performance. It shouldn't even be based on quality of the movie. It should just be based on quality of their performance. But that's not how people's minds work. if you're looking at Angela Bassett, and really the two front runners are Angela Bassett and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
So both actors are the same. They are the exact same age. And out of curiosity, I went and looked. They've been in the industry for about the same amount of time as far as movies and TV shows, stuff like that. Angela Bassett has had a nomination, multiple nominations, but one that I think she should have won for and she didn't was What's Love Got to Do with It. Jamie Lee Curtis has had no nominations in her career. So right away, people are wanting to lean into her. She's an icon. She's never been recognized at all. Mostly because she's done a lot of genre stuff, but still, she has not been recognized at all. And then the big weight on that is Everything Everywhere All at Once is a good movie. One of the best movies of the year. That shouldn't have an impact on who they pick, but it does. You know it does. Mm-hmm. Like, even if I was voting, it would be difficult for me to have voted for her because the movie wasn't good. And that's probably not fair, but like, I don't understand.
I mean, to be fair.
Yes.
I didn't like The Fabelmans, but Judge Hirsch walks onto that movie and eats the scene alive.
I love how you like to say, I didn't like The Fabelmans, and you were giving it a nice solid 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, when I walked out of it.
Yeah, because it's good. You're just being an
and now
bastard now.
Okay, motherfucker. What did you give X movie when you walked out, and then 2 days later you're like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, one of those is good.
Anyway,
back to the point.
I mean, Judge Hirsch probably should have won in any
Judge
other
Hirsch
year.
should have probably won.
That scene is so fucking good.
But I like who won.
Yeah.
I support who won. I think, I feel like 80% of the winners I was in support of.
Yeah.
I know the one that...
The only bad guy of the night was anytime All Quiet on the Western Front won.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, especially for score.
That was stunning. That was the one bad pick.
Go ahead.
Just saying, based on what they played at the Oscars, it didn't sound impressive. So. Yeah,
and I think that was the one that stung both of us pretty bad. Is that's where Babylon should have won.
Yeah,
there's 2 movies that got shut out, 3 that are good movies that got shut out, which was Tar, Babylon, and Banshees of Inisherin. And for me, Babylon should have won score. Banshee should have won screenplay. That should have been it. That would have been enough. But no. A24 set a record with this Academy Awards season, though. The first studio in history to take all the top tier awards.
That's kind of sad.
The first one, and it's a kind of a maverick indie studio, which I think is pretty cool.
I mean, does that mean A24 is now an official studio?
Yes.
Like, I'm not going to say up there with the big boys, but isn't that little indie one anymore? They're now studio.
Yeah.
I think it's also impressive because for the most part, it was one movie, but it wasn't one movie that won all 5 awards. Like A24 had multiple contenders winning awards in the Oscars.
Yeah, so I guess now the true little indie maverick studio that's left is Neon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they won for Parasite.
Yeah, but that's it. And it didn't sweep the way this
one. No, it got like, what, 3?
Something 4? Like that. It got...
Director, screenplay, international, and best picture.
Yeah. Still pretty fucking good. But so, yeah, it was a good time. And apparently the additional feedback that I got from our TikTok stream, which was pretty huge, is the favorite in our game was Eevee. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Tina started winning favor with the streamers because of Eevee.
That's cheating.
It is cheating. I agree.
It wasn't my intention, and they have a will of their own, and they're smarter than you think.
That's some bullshit. Literally in the stream. Once Eevee came on screen.
I had a good view going, so I might have lost, but I won best dressed.
That's true. That's 100% true. Considering I was in pajamas, so there was no winning that. Zach is trying to like
Damn
stuff in the chat. Zach is best one. Whatever. All right.
I was hoping you wouldn't notice.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's look at the box office for this past weekend. Number 10 was Operation Fortune. It made 1.2 million. It's made 5.5 million so far. Number 9 is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I can't believe it's still in the top 10 and it's out on streaming and on physical media.
Yeah, I need to watch this.
It's good. It made 1.7. It's made 179.7 so far. Yeah, it's really good. Number 8 is Avatar: The Way of Water. It made 2.6 million. It's made 674 million domestically. That's like 2 billion or something.
You think it's going to get a little bump for winning Best Visual Effects?
I don't think so. I don't think it's enough.
That's not a
Will
really
Everything
prestige-
Everywhere?
I think Everything Everywhere All at Once will get a bump. Yes.
Yeah, that one totally will. But Best Special Effects is not a very prestige Oscar in terms
Agreed.
of drawing box office numbers.
Yeah. Number 7 is Jesus Revolution. It's 5.1 million. It's made 39.4 so far. Honestly, respectable money for that movie. Number 6, opening new this week, is Champions. It made 5.1 million on its opening weekend.
Go see it, Steven.
Yeah, I know. Number 5 is Cocaine Bear. It made 6.2 million. It's made 51.7 million so far. And already the Walmart direct to video like DVDs that they do.
Oh, the Asylum's been at work?
Yeah, they did. They have Cocaine Shark out. It's already out.
I could
Cocaine Shark.
Okay. I can at least kind of believe that a little bit more. Because if you dump cocaine into the water...
Yeah, but it's going to be the same story.
I was gonna say, what do you mean
really
believe it more?
CG.
Cocaine Bear happened. It's real.
No. Cocaine... A bear ingested cocaine, and they found its corpse. That's the fucking story.
But the cinematic retelling is more fun.
Yeah. Just because it's embellished a bit doesn't mean it didn't happen.
A bit.
Exactly.
A bit.
Exactly. Number 4 is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. It made 7.1 million. It's made 198 so far. Number 3.
That's not good numbers.
It's not good numbers. No, not for a Marvel movie. But it's just telling of the times. Number 3 is 65. It made $12 million for its opening. Probably about what it should have made. Number 2 is Creed 3. It made 27.5. It's made 101 so far. I don't think that's great numbers, but people seem to think it is.
What's the budget on 65?
What is the budget on 65, Zach? While he's looking that up,
Wikipedia guesstimates it between $45 and $91 million.
Wow, that's
That's
kind of a big range.
That's a spread.
Yeah. I bet it's closer to the 45, to be honest.
I mean,
I saw this movie.
You think a lot of that is just going to go to the VFX and Adam Driver?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That gap between 45 and 91 is Adam Driver's
paycheck.
Shit.
And number 1 over the weekend was Scream 6. It made $44 million, 44.4, which is a lot of money for an R-rated horror movie, even a franchise one. It's still good money.
Why does it have to go to Scream 6?
Huh?
Why does it have to go to Scream 6?
Yeah, the last one was Scream.
Yeah, well, you saw Scream 6. Do you want to talk about it?
What are you talking about? What are you asking me?
Well, you're saying Scream 6 made good money.
Yeah.
Why'd it have to go to Scream 6?
Where did you want it to go?
Any other horror film.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
I didn't see which line he was talking about. I thought he was
I
talking
didn't
about
either.
how the last
I thought he was
movie
talking about the name too.
I mean,
yeah.
You went and saw Scream 6.
I did.
How was it?
It's completely mediocre to bad. The last act is really bad.
Well, this money numbers say people love it.
Well, because it's nostalgia. People are locked in on this franchise. People really are locked in.
Nostalgia at this point?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
especially when you start doing a breakdown of this story and you see how this new trilogy they're doing is a mirror of the old trilogy and all this.
Oh, God.
Yeah. People are locked in on that shit, even if the movie is not good and the acting's pretty bad.
Our nephew's doing an entire run through of all the Screams.
Just stop it too.
Stop it too. Yeah, agree. Stop it too.
He went out of order. I think
he went Scream 5, then Scream, then
Scream
What?
2.
Well, okay, so that's probably why though. He watched Scream 5 and then thought it'd be, I should watch the others. I mean, I could see that happening. Yeah.
Why would you just go into the fifth one?
Because it was in the theater and it was all the talk. Yeah, I mean, I think that's totally valid.
Because the fifth one is just called Scream.
Well, true. So I mean, it doesn't sound like it's in numerical order. So yeah, I mean that's totally valid. I think. All right.
What's new?
I forgot to put what's coming out.
If you want to see something new this weekend, we have a couple movies
coming out. There's a few things coming out,
such as Shazam: Fury of the Gods.
Yeah, I'll be
that is this weekend.
67%.
All right, that's about right. 67%. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Inside, 66%.
But I'm much more excited for that one.
And hey, are you old?
No.
Well, do you want to see Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin do something?
Is that Booksmart Part 2 or whatever?
Well, it's 70%. 70%.
Wow, it's the highest rated of the three. Perfect.
So, even though it's not coming out, I just want to say, even though it's early, John Wick Chapter 4, 91%.
Oh, that's good. I hope so.
Hopefully it holds that.
So, actually, on something else coming out. So if you are an Amazon Prime subscriber,
yes,
you can get early access purchase tickets. It's not free tickets, but you can get early access to purchase tickets to Dungeons and Dragons for a special 2 p.m. screening on Sunday, the 19th. This Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it comes out at the end of the month. But if you're a Prime subscriber, you have the option to buy tickets this weekend, which we are doing.
Yes, we have already purchased our tickets.
Yes, so
I can't do it. I got to use my Regal Unlimited.
I gave you the transition. I gave it to you.
No one cares.
Yeah, no one cares because I have more stuff to talk about opening movies. We weren't done with this topic.
I gave you it.
Yeah, and I threw it in your face.
But you undercooked it. You undercooked it. It was undercooked.
But yeah,
I literally brought up John Wick. How do you fucking?
All right, you know what? Now's a good time to move on to the stories.
Hey, you know what? The John Wick saga was originally meant to film movies 4 and 5 together, but that changed sometime after that was announced in 2020, probably pandemic related. John Wick 4 is almost ready to hit movies, but John Wick 5 is uncertain, according to director Chad Stahelski. I hope I got that right. According to an interview that he did in The Hollywood Reporter, director Chad broke down how he and Keanu Reeves currently feel about the franchise. Quote, Keanu and I are done for the moment. We are going to give John Wick a rest. I'm sure the studio has a plan. If everyone loves it and it goes kooky, then we'll take a quiet minute.
I don't trust any director that unironically uses the word kooky.
Unless they're working on the Addams Family.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, it seems it's made clear the possibility of 5th is determined on how well 4 does. But it's not in the can like it was previously discussed. The John Wick franchise overall, though, does still have a future. With the prequel TV series, The Continental, and spin-off movie Ballerina, which is going to star Ana de Armas, who also did not get an Oscar this weekend. It will feature supposedly cameos by Reeves as John Wick, which the actor confirmed in recent interviews. So if you do want to see possibly the last John Wick movie, it's in theaters March 24th.
Okay. I'm calling it now.
Yeah.
He dies.
No, he's not going to die. I would go against that.
They're not looking to do a John Wick 5.
That's not what I heard. That's not at all.
If anything, they'd make it ambiguous.
Yeah. They're basically like taking the time to decide if they want to do a John Wick 5. They're not definitively saying this is the end of the franchise. If they were saying this is the last John Wick, then yeah, sure, he dies. Could they decide to fuck with all of us and internally have made the decision it's the last John Wick and he's going to kill himself? Or not kill himself. They're going to kill the character in the movie.
Well, it's a simple way to fix it. If he dies, you just go, oh, well, he faked his death.
Yeah.
Which would be some bullshit.
I would be here for it. If they killed him, I'd be here for it. I think that'd be amazing.
Turns out the dog that he's been protecting for the last 2 movies is actually Cerberus, dog of the underworld, and he dies, but then they decide to do John Wick 5, and Cerberus is like, "No, I loved this dude," and makes him Hades.
No. That's not it. It's not the dog that he saves. It's the dog from the first movie became Cerberus.
A little beagles, like 3 beagles.
He has to fight his way out of hell. Shit. That would be the dumbest thing.
No, the other way.
Their opening day.
The other way around is John Wick dies, and then the dog goes on the murder spree.
The reality is, though, they could fake kill him. Like, they could kill him off at the end, but it's not a real kill, maybe. I think it'd be also interesting if they just ended this story. They ended this story arc and waited like 10 years to do another one and do Old Man Wick. I'd be here for something like that.
Man, that sounds fucking awesome.
Because he's pushing 60 now. You wait 10 years, he's going to be almost 70 years old.
But he's immortal. He doesn't age, Steven.
You say that.
He
just has to shave that beard and you see the truth.
I'm really glad that the Rotten Tomatoes scores thus far are pretty good. Although I don't know the number of actual reviews that let it up.
But just think about that, though. He's like ended this story, and we see him. That's funny. Evie starts crying here, and my cat has started screaming outside the door.
54 reviews.
But
okay,
I just love the idea of Old Man Wick. Like he's been literally really been out. Like on a desert island or some shit and just hiding and has to come and do his thing.
See, the thing about John Wick, and I hope this is kind of improved. I don't know how they would fix it in the 4th movie because I think the franchise has just drifted too far away from it. Is I think that part of the success of the first movie, the 2 and 3 have been lacking, is that like they're all these kind of surreal, almost cartoons. But movie 1 has this hook that immediately invests you in the character. About the whole, they killed his dog. I don't care what happens in the rest of the movie. I am invested in John Wick getting vengeance because everyone is going to have an emotional reaction to they killed his dog. And that's not present in any of the other movies. So as outlandish as they get, you don't have that emotional hook to kind of keep you centered on the John Wick character. So do they kill another dog at the beginning of this one? What's going to happen?
Don't just kill off John Leguizamo in
that's
the last
another thing too. I like John Leguizamo so much in the first movie, and I wanted him back.
Exactly. You know what the great thing about that is the script for the first one was brilliant in a lot of ways because you're right. They set that emotional hook up, and then for the people who say those red flag bastards that are watching the movie like, oh, it's just a dog, whatever. They actually have the main bad guy explain it to his son why the dog matters. It's not just a dog. And I love that is in there. It's like they're answering everything and setting you up for that final fight. And you're right. They don't do that with the other movies. And it's a shame because people locked in so heavy on the world building. That's kind of what the last movie, I think in a weird way, focused too much on, right? There wasn't enough actual story. It was all world building. So I don't know. I hope this one's good. It looks like it's going to be good.
You know what I'm genuinely worried about?
What's that?
It's 2 hours and 50 minutes.
Yeah, that's too damn long for an action movie.
3 hours.
Well, I didn't know you want.
Like with trailers. Like for an action movie, this better be T2 levels of like, I mean, shit.
No, you know what this better be? This better be RRR level.
But RRR has an intermission.
I loved it so much.
Yeah, it was such a nice breather.
And it wasn't just cut in, it was part of the movie. Brilliant.
I went to Netflix and it doesn't have it.
What?
Yeah. So it has the animatic and then just fades to black and then up. But it doesn't even say intermission.
It didn't say intermission. It said something else.
Interacting or something.
Interlude or something like that. Yeah, it was cool.
But it was such a nice breather.
It really was. All right. Well, I hope this is good. And like I said, whatever they do with him this one, I just want them to step away for 10 years and do Old Man Wick. That would be so cool. Moving on to some.
All right. Quentin Tarantino is back for the last time. The filmmaker behind some of the most indelible movies of the past 3 decades, like Pulp Fiction and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, is putting together what sources say is being billed as his final movie. Movie Critic is the name of the script, and he's prepping to direct this fall, according to sources. And sources describe the story as being set in the late 1970s Los Angeles with the female lead at its center. Most are assuming the story focuses on Pauline Kael, one of the most influential movie critics of all time. Kael, who died in 2001, was not just a critic but also an essayist and novelist. She was known for her pugnacious fights with editors as well as filmmakers. And in the late 1970s, Kael had a very brief tenure working as a consultant for Paramount, a position she accepted at the behest of actor Warren Beatty. Timing of that Paramount job seems to coincide with the setting of the script, and the filmmaker is known to have a deep respect for Kael, making the odds of her being the subject of the film more likely. Currently, it does not have a studio home, but it could go out to studios or buyers as early as this week, according to sources. One frontrunner could be Sony, where Tarantino has a very tight relationship with topper Tom Rothman. Sony distributed Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the filmmaker's 2019 opus on 1960s movie making, and also gave him a unique deal in which the copyrights revert to him over time. Hollywood also won 2 Oscars after nabbing 10 nominations and grossed over $377 million worldwide. Tarantino has for 2 decades commanded the ability to attract the most coveted actors, working with Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt 2 times each. He directed Christoph Waltz to 2 Oscar wins. Samuel L. Jackson is a frequent collaborator. So if this is truly his final film, he will have no shortage of thespians dropping everything to line up for roles. The filmmaker has long maintained he has a finite number of movies in him, saying he wanted to direct 10 films or retire by the time he was 60. Now, keep in mind, he has now made 9 films, if you count the 2 Kill Bill movies as one, and turns 60 later this month. And in an interview with Playboy in 2012, he said, "I want to stop at a certain point. Directors don't get better as they get older. Usually the worst films in their filmography are those last 4 at the end. I am all about my filmography, and one bad film fucks up 3 good ones. I don't want that bad, out of touch comedy in my filmography. The movie that makes people think, oh man, he still thinks it's 20 years ago. When directors get out of date,
The Irishman."
Yeah.
Even though he plans on retiring from filmmaking, he has expressed interest in other creative outlets, noting in interviews that he could direct limited series or plays. In 2021, he did publish his first novel, which was a novelization of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I just wish he would do a horror film.
Oh, God. Well, I mean, kind of did.
Would he?
I mean, no, he didn't actually direct it, but From Dusk Till Dawn is a collaborative effort.
Nah, that's an action movie. But
no way. No, sir. That is a 50-50 movie, and that's what's so great about it. Half of it is action,
half of it's crime, and then it turns to action.
If he had gotten his Star Trek movie off the ground, would that have counted towards the 10?
Yes.
I wish that would have happened. I never for a minute believed it would, an R-rated Trek movie, but I kind of would like to have seen it.
You know, the weird thing is, I never thought I did until watching more modern like TV Trek. Like Picard is often an R-rated show. Like you have Picard saying "fucking" in the last episode. It's like whoa. But yeah, I didn't really think it would happen, but it is curious on how much that kind of may have affected his math, his numbers.
So you know what I love about this though? I'm excited for this because people, I've seen speculation already. Everyone's trying to like armchair it, and I've seen people speculating, is this his attempt at a biopic and stuff like that? And I'm like, remember when we first heard about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Well, yeah, it was about the Manson family.
It was a Manson movie. So What is this movie actually going to be? We don't fucking know. Is it going to have a film critic at the center, and will it probably be a riff on Pauline Kael? Yeah, but who knows what this movie's going to be?
Yeah, who knows how he's going to change history this time?
I love it. And now, if this is his last film, it's interesting to look at his like his series, because he literally has a series. He has his crime era, he has his period piece era, and now he has his Hollywood love letter era. And I'm here for it. Like I'm excited. I love that it's based around a film critic in some way. I never, like, looking back at Pauline Kael, wouldn't be the one that I would pick, but I get it because she's I don't know. I feel like there's something about her that he vibes with, but I prefer Ebert, honestly. To that era of a film critic.
I just really want him to go out strong,
because that's what he keeps saying. He wants to go out strong.
Well, because Once Upon a Time was like, if you had asked me how much I love that movie while watching it, it'd be one thing, and then if you asked me a week later, it'd be a different thing.
Man, that movie. No, I love that movie.
It meanders so hard.
But you know, it's like meanders in the same way to me that Babylon meanders. It's a world that I want to be in, and I just loved it so much.
Maybe I need to rewatch it, but like I remember
loved it. Loved it.
I didn't get the hype. Like when you read the reviews, people thought it was like the second coming of Christ.
It was beautiful,
and I was like, I am not seeing this masterful piece. We already had Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah,
that was probably his masterpiece, outside of Pulp, and outside of Death Proof.
Okay, I don't know about that. I'd have to really think about that.
I really like Death Proof.
I like that. I like Inglourious Bastards a lot, but it's not my go-to. Not for Tarantino.
Well, Pulp Fiction's your go-to.
Pulp Fiction's my go-to. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then followed by Kill Bill.
Ooh, interesting.
I love Kill Bill. Yeah.
See, I go Inglourious over Kill Bill.
Not me.
Interesting.
But I prefer martial arts movies to war movies.
See, I actually that brings up another point. The article mentions that counting Kill Bill 1 and 2 as one movie.
They were one movie.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It was Whole Bloody Affair.
Yeah, he made one movie.
I get it. Although
you can't release a fucking 4-hour movie in 2004.
Oh god,
I do think they are stylistically different enough to count as separate movies. Like 1 and 2 definitely feel different, even though they are cohesively, narratively a single product. But if he gets around to ever doing a Kill Bill 3 with the girl getting her revenge on the bride,
I wish.
No.
But would he again finagle the numbers of? Oh yeah, that's part of the same movie.
In his defense, though, I will say with Kill Bill is if you look at the history of that movie, that was a completed film. That was a negotiation with Harvey Weinstein, unfortunately, to split that movie.
I'm going to take Harvey's side here. You better write down the date, but you can't release a 4-hour R-rated, like hard R-rated film in 2004 and have it be profitable.
Yeah.
It makes $70 million.
I'm not saying he's wrong either. But the point is, to what Nico is saying about them stylistically being different, I think some of those decisions were made in post. Yes. After he agreed to split the movies in half, I think he kind of went a little crazy, making some stylistic changes in post on the second film. So, yeah, I get where you're coming from with that. Because that first film is Game of Death. Second film is a little different. It's kind of
Sergio Leone.
With a little Argento thrown in here and there.
Yeah.
Or actually a little... not Argento, more like a Fulci type of thing, because he even uses some Fulci music in it.
But yeah, it's more of a Western. It's like the second film is spaghetti Western almost. And the first film is the Game of Death, very stylized, surreal martial arts film.
Spaghetti.
You can still...
And we're going to have pizza later.
You can still just cut that whole scene where she meets Bill's father figure. You could just cut that whole scene, though.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you could... Especially the second one, you could trim up a lot. But the whole the dialogue that you like about Superman, you could.
I like that.
You cut
but
that.
you can cut that whole previous fucking scene.
Yeah.
Because she already knew where everybody else was.
Yeah.
Suddenly she's got to go to somebody else to find it. Fuck that scene. Just
I like that dialogue. I fundamentally disagree with the dialogue, but I like the dialogue.
Also, Volume 2 does not work as a midnight movie, man.
Yeah, that's a lot. Neither of those movies work as a midnight movie.
Volume 1, it was kind of fun.
You know what Volume 1 does work in, though? Double feature with Battle Royale. Works really good. Yeah. Works great.
Okay, I don't know if we talked about this before, but for years,
works great.
We talked about being able to do a double feature with Kill Bill Volume 1 and Battle Royale on 35mm
at the Belcourt Theater.
And I couldn't find any evidence of its ever existing. Wayback Machine never found it. Mm-hmm. And then they released this giant, like 50 megabyte PDF of everything they've ever shown ever. Command F, Battle Royale. And what was right next to it? Kill Bill Volume 1.
Validation is delicious. And you know what else? It was sold the fuck out too. It was great.
They should show that as a midnight Battle Royale.
They should show that as a midnight movie.
They should show that.
That'd be a great one. Next time they're taking requests, baby, we should put that one in. I don't know what else there is to say about this though, other than to hear this, I'm pumped. I feel like he's in my space right now, and also he's, depending on how long this movie takes, he's in the zeitgeist. We had so many movies this year about Hollywood and about seeing movies in the theater and all that stuff. I mean, we had Babylon, and Empire of Light, The Fabelmans. Those are just the three I can think of right now. I think there were others.
But he's also not leaving the wheelhouse because he's currently still in it. Like, What's About Them in Hollywood is about Hollywood movies. So
technically, I guess Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was right at the beginning of all that.
Yeah.
So I'm here for it. I'm excited. All right. Moving on. Quickly, The Last of Us is done.
Okay. You don't want to see Steven
this
get
season
pissed?
Is done. Go ahead. All right, wait. Before you start. Anybody who's reviewing this movie or reviewing this episode or this season in its entirety has to do so without referencing the game.
All right. It's rushed. It feels rushed.
All of a sudden, Zach's 30-minute diatribe went down to 3 words.
It feels exceedingly rushed, especially there at the end. It feels like they compressed 2 episodes into one. And as such, it doesn't have the moments to breathe.
Giraffes.
You know what's the interesting thing about this one? I was looking at the runtime of the episode to compare.
It's like the shortest episode.
It is. It's the shortest episode of the season. I was looking at it just like to try to figure out what show of the series that I'm watching right now to watch before tonight. And I picked it because it was like 40-something minutes. It was the shortest episode of the season, which is really weird. I didn't. It feels a little rushed, although like once he's at the hospital portion, I think moves like at a reasonable pace. I feel like the rush feeling is it opens up, and it doesn't open up because it's got that little prequel bit, but like when it catches up to modern day, it jumps ahead so far from where we were just at in the last episode, and then goes through that entire series of getting to where they're in the hospital so quickly that feels like we missed a whole quarter of a season.
4 months.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little odd to me that at the beginning of the show that he's carrying his daughter and it's this very emotional moment, and then he picks up Ellie at the end and there's no emotional moment. Almost like they set up something and never paid it off. Mm-hmm. I know another medium that did that, but since we're not allowed to we're not allowed to talk about that. It feels like they really didn't pay that off. Like, and his escape felt very easy. Like there was no resistance whatsoever. As soon as he picked her up, they just fucked right off.
Well, that was one thing that kind of bothered me.
I could still talk about this.
It went full on. This episode to me kind of went full on. Like
The action was so flat.
They sold this show as kind of like, the characters are grounded and we're focusing on the drama. It's not about the zombies or the clickers or whatever the fuck. But then this episode goes into full video game mode where he has a rifle with unlimited fucking bullets.
He has a clip and a half.
Whatever, he had enough. There was never
enough.
a
They
concern, struggle.
He was reloading.
I know they did, but he goes through this building where he is outgunned and outmanned and just proceeds to kill the fuck out of everybody Terminator style with no trouble whatsoever.
Agreed. It feels flat, like there's no tension or a ticking time.
It wasn't action to me at all. It was just boom, 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 boom. There
was no real threat to Joel. Like Joel was, he was on easy mode in this game.
I was literally going to say,
like have him get grazed by a bullet or something to raise tension, but
or back him into a corner or something,
or plays into my issues with the show from the beginning. Bring in some directors and showrunners who actually make good suspenseful TV that could have made those sequences more energetic in some way. Did just feel the entire episode feels flat to me.
Yes,
I kind of had gotten invested in Ellie a little bit finally, and even the beginning of this episode, I kind of appreciated how she was acting. Like you finally felt like she has some trauma, she's dealing with it. Whatever, but then everything it's over, and it's like,
well, she's unconscious for most of the episode.
No, she's unconscious for 10 minutes.
Well, look, when she's gone for most of it as a functional character, because you have once like the grenade hits and they get kidnapped and taken to the hospital. Ellie is functionally no longer in the movie or no longer in the show until she wakes up in the car. So
10 minutes later.
But it's a crucial part of the show, though.
Yeah.
It's the climax, the last act. You're talking about 43 minutes. It's a fourth of the episode. She's nowhere to be found.
Yeah,
that's a lot. So
I appreciate what they tried to do with the giraffes.
I saw Jurassic.
Did anybody notice that the majority of the environmental shots were shot through that hole in the wall?
Honestly, I thought the giraffes were CG and everything else they were at a real edge, and then it was actually flipped to where the giraffes were real and everything else was CG.
That hole was so magically perfect that they were shooting through. I'm like,
it's almost like they're adapting it for a medium. It's crazy.
It's so cheap. Like I kept thinking, it really does remind me of a video game, the way this hole is cut just so in the wall and you can see just enough of the environment through it, and then the giraffe pokes his head through.
I expected the giraffe to sneeze on her, i.e. Jurassic Park.
It's like I've seen this shot before. I honestly didn't realize the giraffes were real. That was I thought I think it was probably partially because of the CGI sheen of the background. But I thought they were also CGI.
I did too.
I'm impressed they got real giraffes.
I mean, I'm proud of them for doing it.
I would have swapped. I would have rather had CGI giraffes in real environments, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I never feel like I'm grounded enough in this show. Like so many times, I feel like there's just not enough earth in the show. And that was one of those sequences. I'm like, Jesus. And then everything else is like so inside and claustrophobic.
I will say this is probably the weakest episode of the entire season.
Yeah.
Which is really kind of sad to go out on because you're just like, eh. And, from an adaptation perspective, they did do the ending shot for fucking shot. And I don't know.
You did it. You did it.
No.
You went there.
No. What I'm saying is, I don't know if it worked.
It didn't. It didn't work. It felt
flat. In the game, it felt so impactful, but I don't know if it worked here.
Well, but you know why it felt so impactful in the game? It goes back to what Nico was saying about this runtime. How many hours of play had you had up to that point? It felt like, 5 minutes went by.
Well, another thing too is in the game, it is you playing this role. So you have a more personal investment. Whereas we're watching Joel make this decision and it feels kind of rushed. It feels like there should have been some more time in the hospital, some more time earlier in the episode before getting to the hospital. So it's just so weird. I wonder, did they just use the budget on the earlier episodes? Did they just not have enough for this last episode?
I guess so.
It's so weird. This is HBO. They have money.
And I will say,
I don't know about that. Warner Brothers is not in a flush time right now.
Okay, reasonable.
I will say, despite the whole, we want to focus on the drama, not necessarily the mushroom zombies. For it being the season finale, they could have at least thrown in 1 or 2 mushroom zombies.
Yeah, I agree. I think we got one for the flashback, but I think we really needed some. There needs to be some more set pieces with the zombies. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I get that that's not what they're going for, but it's like I
need to have tension.
Well, next season, I need the fucking the ones that spore out.
Yeah, you're a post-apocalyptic zombie show.
That's the problem, because they haven't introduced spores. So I don't know how they're going to do that. But the problem I see from this show, honestly, they're like, okay, season 2, we're greenlit. How the fuck do you do that game? Obviously, you're going to have to split it in 2. But how do you translate that game, which controversially was received, and then you go, we're not going to make any changes? You know, our critics, we're not going to make any changes. It's like, I don't know, man. If everybody says, hey, this is not good.
Well, I saw one of the showrunners the other day on TV already saying that it was going to take more than 1 season to do the next story arc.
You're going to have to do it in part 1, part 2.
Yeah.
Because it deals with 2 characters.
Well, and I'm actually very
from
annoyed.
Different points of view and different points of time.
I very much hate that they're sticking so close to the game, because people love to freaking talk about what's in the second game, and there's some major spoilers for me because I haven't played it. It's just been dropped out there. And I'm like, I don't really see them doing that in the show, though, to be honest.
You don't think they're going to?
No, I don't think they're going to do that.
I think they will do it. They're going to do it, but it's going to be like an end game, like an end show thing.
I think if they do that, it will. I think it will ruin the show, because.
Why do you think so many people thought part 2 was so controversial?
Because the show, but see, a show and a game, you can really fuck up the story. If the gameplay is fun, people still play it. A show, if you fuck up the story, people, and this is already kind of an ugly looking show to begin with. So if the effects and the action isn't good, and then you really do something like that and screw up the show, people will ditch. So I don't think they'll do it. I honestly think it'll get changed. I hope you guys are right.
$1. They keep it
in the next season.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll do it in the next season. I think it'll be midway through season 3.
Well, you can't do that. You can't do that because story-wise, it's.
Well, we're gonna see.
It's the beginning of the goddamn story.
It is. I know. That's what got spoiled for me. I'm like, shit. Thank you for that.
I mean,
I know. But anyway, I just as I was starting to get invested in the character, it just went. It felt like a flat balloon, and it made me sad because I was starting to be like, okay, because I want to be on this hype train so bad, and I just am not, and it's annoying because I want to like shit too. Damn it! I like the other show that Tina told me I should read the book about. I'm still liking that show.
Daisy Jones and the Six.
Yeah.
I watched the first episode. I haven't been able to watch more, but yeah.
The only problem with that show is the music is not that great. And that's a problem. That is a problem, but I like the show. I like the actors. I like the drama. It's good. I think it's worth a watch. All right. Should we move on?
All right. Homeland duo Howard Gordon and Alex Gansa may be heading back to Showtime. The Sony Pictures TV-based duo is teaming up with Craig Borton from Dallas Buyers Club to develop an adaptation of the 1997 dystopian movie Gattaca for the premium network. Sources say the project is being eyed with a sizable commitment at the Paramount Global-backed cabler and marks the first new project to be developed since Chris McCarthy added oversight of Showtime to his purview. The movie starred Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman, was set in a not-too-distant future where eugenics are common and genetic discrimination is illegal. Andrew Niccol wrote and directed the movie, which was produced by Sony's Columbia Pictures. Danny DeVito, Michael Schamberg, Stacey Shear, and Gail Lyon produced the pick. God, man, they should put Danny DeVito in the movie.
Yeah.
I just want Danny DeVito to be in everything he does. Since McCarthy is out at Showtime, the exec who oversees...
He's going to be in the Haunted Mansion.
He is going to be in the Haunted Mansion. I'm also mostly kind of looking forward to that one. That Gattaca's been in the works of Showtime for more than a month. As the Hollywood Reporter previously teased, the project is in its story last month in which it was circling a reboot for a well-known sci-fi film, which looks to be Gattaca. Gordon and Ganta have been based at Sony TV for the past few years as part of a rich overall deal. The duo served as showrunners for Homeland, which was a signature hit for the network's previous regime under David Nevins and Gary Levine.
Has everybody seen this movie?
Yes.
Yep.
I think this is a no-brainer for a TV series. Like that sort of thriller aspect of this guy's trying to get off the planet and having to hide out in the company and all of that stuff. And talking about showrunners that know how to do a thriller and do action, Homeland was a great show. I liked Homeland all the way to the end.
I remember watching that movie for biology, and it was so cool. Like, I just remember the intricacies, almost spy level work that they had to do in order for him to pass off as the other dude, like the fingerprints, the blood packets, all of that stuff.
I'm here for it. I think it's a brilliant choice for a TV series.
I thought it was fine. I was never a huge fan of it.
Of course you thought it was fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
So the other thing I guess I like about it too is its style, because it's obviously hampered by budget, but they did cool stuff with the budget that they had. And it has good cast. I mean, you got Ethan Hawke and Jude Law, and then you've got
Uma Thurman.
That's it. I like it, but outside of that, I just think that concept seems like, to me, it would really work for TV.
Was this the movie that Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman met?
Maybe.
I don't know. Probably.
Thus, Maya Hawke was born.
Yes. The real eugenics experiment of Gattaca is Maya Hawke.
All right. Well, if nobody has anything else, let's move on to this last story.
All right. Well, sorry to say, the golden age of streaming for consumers is eating that shit up. Now that Wall Street has realized that streaming will have to generate a profit as legacy distribution flags, financiers are putting pressure on companies to make it pay. When the distribution method was new, Wall Street hailed streamers as gathering subscribers and offering ever more expensive content to entice them. No longer, baby. Suddenly dismayed at Disney's losses, its streaming service, investors pushed out Bob Chapek.
Thank God.
And put back
Mr. Iger.
Iger.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Warner's experiment with theatrical releases hitting HBO Max at the same time has been fucking scrapped by David Zaslav, the Warner Bros. Discovery CEO. Quote, we're going to be open to all forms of distribution to get the best return for every dollar.
You don't have to pause where the ellipses are.
Well,
he's struggling.
No. I put that because I can just imagine him sitting there and just being like, hold on, I can't say that shit.
Yeah.
Forms of distribution, nail the line, to get the best return.
So what's interesting that's not in this article also is Bob Iger basically just said the same thing. He's like, listen, we're reinvesting in physical media. We're reinvesting in VOD. They're basically, his point is the same as the Warner Brothers point. We can't pull everything into streaming because it's not going to make us money.
Well, I mean, I'm fine with that, but you need to be consistent with what you're putting up there, and the quality needs to be there. I mean, we talk about and shit on Netflix 7 days a week, 5 hours a day, of just how fucking pointless every single show and movie they put up there is just trash.
Yeah.
I mean, even when it gets like Oscar nominated or, wins awards, it's just meh.
the good stuff that Netflix actually has is not stuff that they produce.
No, they just bought it.
Usually it's foreign films like All Quiet on the Western Front,
which was meh.
And yeah, and they
because like as much it would every single speech about All Quiet winning something at the Oscars was thanking Netflix. So I feel like that was
they might have financed some of that one. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you might be right. But the point of the article also is that there's a handful of things happening. Warner Brothers, HBO, basically discovered that 60% of the product that they put on streaming is not watched. So they're filling up servers and opening up bandwidth for stuff that no one's watching. And I'm sure if they're having that problem, so is Disney, so are all the other streamers. So and now they've got to figure out how to go back and make it profitable. And what my favorite part is on a personal note is because Bob Iger is like, we're going to start putting up Blu-rays again and 4Ks. But interestingly, in that same article, which obviously you didn't edit,
there was a paragraph left and you stopped me.
Well, asshole. Go back. Yeah, you were flipped away from it, so I don't know if you were going back.
All right, well, cool. We'll move prices up, no question about it, said Paramount CEO at a December conference, echoing the sentiment of his counterparts. Quote, we feel very comfortable with our ability to do that. And ads are headed to ad-free services such as Netflix and Disney Plus. Indeed, consumers will have to pay more to dodge those goddamn ads and even get some premium content. Lovely. A recent study by Real Good noted that Netflix's ad-supported service features significantly less content, hundreds of fewer movies and TV shows. Some of the most popular on Netflix, including Bullet Train, are not available on the ad-supported service. Popular TV shows like The Walking Dead, New Girl, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine are included.
Yeah, are not on there. I didn't know that was a thing.
I'm curious. I'm curious if that is a pitch to try to get people to subscribe to the higher tier, or if that's a licensing issue. Like they may have licensing agreements that do not allow them to collect advertising revenue on those materials.
Oh, you could be right about that because there's a lot of shows that are particular about what kind of product they're associated with, and that could be a thing. I hadn't actually thought of that. I just figured it was what you said initially, that it's just a way to try to attract people to the premium service, but it could be more than that.
Because otherwise, what's the point? If you want people to buy the advertising Netflix model, you want them to get Netflix out of it. Otherwise, it's pointless. So I think in all the examples that Zach just said, like these sitcoms that are not Netflix sitcoms, and it makes sense is okay, those definitely could have advertising licensing deals that require Netflix to not be able to put commercials in them. So
it's got me thinking twice about it, though. I was thinking about actually going to their ad supported model, so I don't give them any money directly. And I still might be able to do that because I find that most of what I actually invest in is junk stuff, like British baking show and stuff like that. I don't watch any of it. If I wanted to see Bullet Train, I wouldn't be watching it on Netflix. I would have already seen it.
The real question too is the air quote Netflix original content. Is that going to be paywall? Because that's going to be the determining factor. If it's stuff that Netflix is producing or putting its logo on, if they put that behind a higher paywall, then yes, it is because they are trying to drive subscriptions up to this higher tier. But if it's on this ancillary stuff that they are licensing, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Bullet Train, it's I think this is a licensing agreement that they're not allowed to put the ads they want to in these shows.
I could absolutely see them take the really popular things they do, like Stranger Things, and dropping that into the premium only section. I could see them do that. Or maybe not. Maybe they could charge more advertising dollars for that one.
Yeah.
Break it. The thing that's hilarious to me is we're pretty rapidly reverting back to what cable was.
I hate it.
Less than 10 years ago.
I hate it.
I do hate it, but the thing is, I think it's just figuring it out because we all wanted a la carte cable because I still have satellite here because we need the Spanish channels. But if I had the choice, I would rather not be paying for all those extra channels. But the problem is now the streaming services are all so expensive, it ends up being the same amount. Like if you have Netflix, Hulu, and now Paramount's got balls all of a sudden, even though no one watches them, to say that they can charge more. You add all that together,
not to mention their apps suck.
It could be because we have a PlayStation 4, so it's not like we have the most.
Dude, Peacock sucks.
But yeah, Paramount's app is garbage.
Well, and isn't that's only temporary? Isn't Paramount about to merge with Showtime anyway? Isn't that happening? Their streaming services.
I don't know which app is going to get the priority in that agreement.
Yeah,
I would hope that it's not Paramount, because the last time I looked at their app, it was hot garbage. The Showtime app is okay. I mean, it's not amazing.
Yeah, Showtime is to combine with Paramount Plus.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, I have Peacock, and God, their UI is
terrible. Yeah, Peacock is really bad too.
I have an Apple TV with like 4K, and it just struggles to navigate. And I'm like, I can go through any other app smoothly. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's garbage. So now it's going to be like, I feel like I'm sitting here thinking it out of my head, because I don't want to be spending $150 a month on streaming services. I'm not going to do it. So then I have to figure out which streaming services am I willing to look at ads on, and which ones do I want to pay for premium service. Like that, maybe that's, and those are going to be like the HBOs of the 90s. You pay for HBO and you pay for Showtime, and then you have to watch ads for everything else.
I will pay for HBO, Shudder.
Shudder's still a good price.
Yeah, it's still like $50 a year. Criterion, because I forgot to cancel. That's like $100 a year.
Yeah, that was working out great for me.
Still not that bad. That's the only ones I need.
Yeah. I feel like if I have HBO Max, like if I'm talking about paying, HBO Max, and I actually really like Hulu. I get a lot of use out of Hulu. I don't love their app, but they end up having a lot of things that I like. That's about it. If I had to. Netflix, once Stranger Things is over, they don't have anything else that's really compelling me right now. But once that one's over, we'll see. All right. What do you guys have to say? You're quiet over there.
I mean, yeah, we, especially since we have the boys, we kind of have to have a lot of streaming options. So we have like our Netflix, our Amazon, our Paramount Plus, our HBO, Disney Plus. I watch, especially when I was on maternity leave. I'm working back at work now, but when I had free time, I watched a lot of stuff on a lot of different apps. I watched a lot of stuff on Amazon and on Disney, and because I've watched a lot of the Star Wars stuff and watched stuff on Netflix. And so I bounced around a lot of places, and I see that that's probably likely for a lot of people too. But I do, like on the Paramount one, I use the ad option. I also don't pay for it anyway because I got it free with my my phone subscription. Yeah. We also don't pay for HBO because we got that free with our internet subscription.
Yeah.
So it's kind of going to be interesting to see if as streaming services struggle with funding, making money, so many streaming services come bundled with other things, with your cell phone plan, with your internet plan. Is that going to decline? Is that going to be a thing that's just not as common, that you just have to go and just pay for it?
Exactly. Oh, okay. So side note real quick. Did you, Nico, Tina, did you guys read the Wool books?
No, I've got them on my Kindle, but I haven't actually read them yet.
No.
So I bring it up because I was trying to find something else to read and nothing was grabbing me. So I reread that entire series because they're really good. And I was thinking to myself, man, this is a series of books that begs for a TV series. And I go and research it, and it's coming out in May on Apple TV Plus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's called Silo, which makes sense. They've changed
Salo?
Silo.
Salo?
No, not Salo.
Oh.
Salo is a different experience altogether. You have the Criterion channel, sir.
It's not on Criterion.
Oh, well, that's a shame. I have the movie. because I'm twisted.
I don't think they're going to put that on Criterion Channel.
I mean, you never know. But anyway, go and look up the trailer. I didn't put it in here because I think the trailer's been out for a while. It's just something that escaped me. I think you guys would really like those books.
That's one actually. That's like the one service we don't have is we don't have Apple Plus.
Same.
There's a lot of stuff that looks like I would like to watch on Apple Plus.
Yeah.
Agree. I need to find somebody who has it and swap passwords with them. All right. So the good news is we're going to get more physical media from Disney. And if you want to buy some physical media this week, The Whale is out only on Blu-ray.
Dude, they're going to do a 4K. You know, A24 is going to do a 4K of that.
Yeah, they've got to. A Man Called Otto is out. The Prince of Egypt is out in a 4K.
Wait, you don't know A Man Called Otto?
I know A Man Called Otto. I hate him. Streets of Fire is out in a 4K. The Core of all movies is out in a fucking 4K. And then Zach's favorite movie from last year's 12 Hours of Terror, Razorback.
It looked pretty.
Yeah. It's an Australian horror movie.
I know what it is. It was because A24 wanted to wait so they could print Oscar award-winning actor Brendan Fraser in The Whale on their 4K releases.
I mean, it's just a sticker.
I don't care what they do with The Whale. I'm still waiting on my freaking X and Pearl 4Ks.
God.
That's what I'm waiting for.
Gimme.
All right, let's bring this baby to an end. I got pizza waiting on me. I guess I'll let Zach have some too. Yeah, Evie needs some attention.
Is it Little Caesars? It needs to be Little Caesars because it's March 15th.
It is not Little Caesars. We got good pizza.
Yeah, but where are the Ides of March?
Well, you can go down the street and get you some Little Caesars.
Yeah, it's Caesars.
I know. I get it, but I'm still not eating cardboard.
All right.
And Nico, where are we going to find you on the internet, sir?
You can find everything I do at nicholasqualls.com, NicholasQualls. It's got the links to my socials, so Twitter, Instagram.
It's got the link to a social security number.
It does not have
perfect.
That.
I need that.
If you were a fan of Evie during the Oscar game and want to contribute to her baby shower, the baby registry is linked on nicholasqualls.com.
Perfect. That's a good promotion. Tina?
You can find me on most major social medias under Cheddar Popper. That is CHEDRPOPPR.
Nice. Zach boy.
Oh, you can find me on Steam. I'm a dangerous mute lunatic. Same on Discord, and you can find me on Instagram. I'm Master of the Matrix 91. I post like once every 8 months.
Yep.
And you can find me on Letterboxd, Master Z91.
There you go. Find me at all things OTS movies, Letterboxd. I'm trying to keep up with my Pushing 150 movies, actually writing reviews, putting some of my physical media watches on there too. TikTok and Instagram, OTS movies. Go look at that. Look at that shit. We'll see everybody next week.
Bye everybody.